As we head into Champ Select for our first game of the night, we'll have to see what is going to be banned away to start things off. We're expecting that Rise. It has been, I believe, perma-banned all throughout, Varus, Orianna. These power picks are still incredibly potent. So I'm expecting to see that coming into this draft. Anything that you're expecting seeing these players?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, again, the grassroots seed does allow that uniqueness in terms of what you are going to be playing on the Rift. Pretty consistently, we have seen Prio around the likes of the Orianna, the Rise in the mid lane. We are seeing more of a Prio around those slightly longer range bot laners. Yunara in particular, as it's banned away by the mate, was probably being the highest Prio bot lane that we have seen, at least over the last couple of matches. But it is sort of a mixed bag. I mean, we saw Ma absolutely shutting down, Ma, the troll of the Oceanic Resurrection Tournament, absolutely shutting down Rise time and time again. It's going to be banned out this time by Coach of Woodon. They don't want Imogen to have it at all. But, I mean, you can respect it. We know what a Rise can turn into if given the room to do so.
And we've seen E-Hop on a number of these picks as well. As the Orianna, there it is, going to be banned away. They don't want the first pick there from Woodon to be that. We saw a very interesting draft last time around. I believe it was, God, I forgot, what did we see Woodon play last week? It was an incredibly, my mind is completely blanking. I'm not sure why. Anyway, we'll get back to the bands here. Braum, going to be that last one away, taking that away from Soli. Very interesting for a first round ban. It was the Ribbon, I believe.
Yeah, well, I mean, it speaks to that maybe Coach by Woodon are looking towards more of a pokey comp. Braum naturally does deny a lot of that poke with his door, shield, whatever skin. He's running the kebab spinner, depending on which one you've got.
The bank
Rumble
bolt
being banned away makes a lot of sense. Mapler's banning out to 3 very, very strong picks in terms of what we're seeing currently being played. And Ashe. So this signals to me that Reela and Gavin are looking for that Ashe Seraphine lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And taking away that Braum as well. Good choice if they know that they were going to go for it. Because you can block a lot of that. We're seeing another Jhin first pick. Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of this champion.
Ooh, okay.
We both know.
I'm slightly more sold now. So, the problem I have with Jhin is he is a support bot laner. He is not a carry bot laner. His job is he's that execute. That's naturally inherently built into his kit. So you need high damage coming out of your other lanes, your other roles, and then this Jhin that can then sit as that artillery on the back line. Okay, so it's not even an Ashe Seraphine. It's going to be an Ashe Nautilus, which, look, Gavin, go for it, champ, do you? But yeah, I mean, you want high damage. Ambessa naturally, inherently does a crazy amount of damage, so it's going to do a lot to help this Jhin out. Not to mention, the Deadly Flourish public execution combo means that whoever's caught by it is going to be stuck there for a darn good long time. The problem being is Jhin is now looking down the barrel of a Jarvan Nautilus and an Ashe. Like, this is going to be a tough game for sure for Masesa, but with a Leona as well, that does give him a bit of space.
Absolutely, it does. I imagine that they're probably going to throw everything that they've got at this bot lane, especially seeing this Ambessa. It hasn't been locked into either jungle or top lane. Probably going to be top lane, you would imagine, at this point. You want that solid, consistent, high health, high damage top laner with so many resources to work with to really get on top of this Ashe. There isn't really a whole lot of damage just yet for Woodon, so we'll have to see exactly how this comp continues to develop. Akali going to be banned away, and the Zehen as well. So wanting to get more favorable matchups for that Ambessa if it is going top lane.
Aurelia as well. Now, keeping in mind, so I've known Mastermo for a good long time. He is playing an autofill role, by the way. He is not traditionally a jungler. Traditionally, he has been either a mid laner or a bot laner. So Jarvan, yeah, pretty no-brain, pretty simple, hard to mess up. And it's really going to put him through his paces and to see how well he can help Coach by Woodon get this over the line, of course. Azir in the mid lane, Nah top for Woodon. Now, I suppose it's worth talking about. It has been played jungle in the last couple of days. It was by CBLOL and it started the game 0-3. So there's a good reason it hadn't been played for nearly 15 years before that point. Ahri in the mid lane for E-Hop. So far, they've got a really decent comp. Synergistically, it's not the most impressive, but there you go. So Xin Zhao on the other side means that it is going to be Ambessa top. So far, I mean, look, this draft that the Maplers have put together for themselves does reasonably well with the Jhin. It's not the most explosive damage, but it is going to have enough coverage that this Jhin does find value.
Absolutely. We saw this Ahri being used to tremendous effect last time around. But these immobile AD carries are going to have a lot of work to do. The Azir, all of the engage potential on Coached by Woodon. There is so much at their disposal as we will get into game number 1 of the final day of Group Stage. Love to see how these teams continue to develop this early game. Not expecting too much out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I mean, especially the state of the game, you're not looking for those early invades because it can just put you in such a horrendous position. So it'll just be early vision. There is potential for a lot of scrapping around the Rift with both these drafts.
Yes, absolutely there is. And those early skirmishes that we've seen in the bot lane probably tend to favor Coached by Woodon a whole lot more, especially with that lethal tempo. The Ashe early game is something that you cannot really discount, especially landing that early chip onto the bone plating. The fourth shot doesn't even do that much damage at this point. See how that goes.
Yeah,
pretty standard clearing.
No, he is a bit of a lane bully early on with that bouncing grenade with the Deadly Flourish and Leona. It is just going to make it a little bit harder for Reela to actually play this lane, but obviously, if they trade back comfortably and Mosesa can't pump out that punishment, it very much bucks that trend of how this lane should be going. And Mosesa far more focused on last hitting compared to his lane opponent.
Yeah, and especially without that heal as well, going to be very difficult because the cleanse, it will stop the damage over time from the burn, but it won't stop the grievous wounds. So, has to be kept at the front of mind here for Mosesa for solely in this bot lane as Gavin is continuing to put up that pressure with this hook, force him off. So much CS already lost. Some of it's going to be slowly eked away here in the top lane. Yumayushi, no, it is Chuppa Chups. Just back and forth, getting some grasp stacks. Loves that.
Oh, cheeky invade here on Massimo's jungle, but if nothing else, Emahan does just get that ward down. Gavin coming for a roam up, trying to contest some of that vision. This is a level 2 Nautilus.
Could be in a little bit of trouble here. Has the Aftershock to work with, but Han could be in a lot of... Hang on a moment. Ignite to come on through. Flash over the wall. Conqueror fully stacked for Massimo. Another flash over the wall, and Emahan's going to find the first. The fourth shot does so much damage. And finally, Soli will find another one. I don't know where Reela was on the
recall.
back at the end of it also. Yeah. Not a great situation to start things off from Coached by Woodon.
I mean, E-Hop as well had lane prior. That entire time didn't even come down to an assist. Soli.
A flash. Might land something. Just out of range. So Will, with the double buffs, level 3 Leona at this point is nothing to joke about.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of tools to enable this Maplers roster, but I think E-Hop potentially selling the farm a little bit there comes down, might have even been able to mop up even more kills, even at this early stage of the game. But yeah, just the timing not there at all for Coached by Woodon with the recall coming. Oh!
Gavin lands a lot of damage, still in level 2 at this point, but that's going to put Reela in a much more favorable position here. Yeah, not exactly sure what the plan was, but Massimo's here. So is Han. Let's see who lands who first. Flag and drag. CC. And the chain is there. Reela gets one. How much further can they go, though? Because now Han is here. Big chunk of damage on towards Gavin, but hasn't fallen down just yet. Aftershock. And the lethal tempo is fully stacked. They're going to hand the double buffs right over towards this Ashe. And suddenly, the pendulum swings once again. And Coached by Woodon off to the races.
That's my boy Max in autofill jungle role. Yeah. He's going to be pretty happy with himself there. Like I said, it's not a position that he's used to being in. He's usually the mid, he's usually the bot lane, but on the jungle, he's definitely got it down at the moment. He's had some great rotations, even falling, unfortunately, early, giving over those double buffs to Soli. But what a gank, coming to that tri-brush, recognizing there was just no vision there whatsoever. Even if it was a gamble and he wasn't sure, it pays off in a big way. They get the kill on the Mosesa. They then bait Soli into getting too aggressive onto Gavin, who then turns around, lands the hook, and they just hand a second kill off to Reela's on this Ashe. And that's exactly where you want to be in Ashe to be. If not even, then ahead. And Reela's currently 600 gold ahead.
Yeah, picturesque start for this team after a bit of a fumble earlier on. See how much further they can go. Dragon just about to spawn, but it is the Cloud, so not a whole lot of priority towards that. If you're Maplers, you would like to get it though. Try and hamper this Ashe as much as possible, because as we saw yesterday, this Ashe can prove to be an incredible nuisance once that Stormrazor comes online. Massimo continuing to stack things up. A few camps behind, but overall not in a terrible position, as the role quest is about even overall.
Yeah, I mean, enabling your bot lane to get that double kill, certainly going to make up for that little bit of a disparity. But he is doing what he can, clearing those camps, contesting those scuttles as well. So he is proactive on the Rift. Old Chubba Chub's up in the top lane, losing out, as you would expect in this range versus melee matchup, but down in the bot lane.
A big chunk of damage, making most of these double buffs while they land. E-Hop's finally here, lands the Q on both of them. Foxfire, that's the kill, going to be secured. A third on the board for this Ashe. The roam from the mid lane is clean.
Great. I mean, you've had lane priority for such a long time now on this Ahri. It's pretty easy to achieve. So why not turn that into an advantage? And they've done just that. Look bot lane, look to exploit what is essentially two very immobile champions. Unless that flashes up, there's really no room for them to get out of these danger positions.
Fun, hard situation to really get anything done on the map here for Maplers. Top lane constantly getting pushed in. Really hard to find anything mid for Azir at this point. So they're going to have to settle for this Cloud Drake. Doesn't have the upgrade smite, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get that done this time around. What is the trade is the question here for Coached by Woodon. Setting things up maybe for those grubs in a minute. A gank top, definitely a possibility here, as Woodon's going to get a few fruit to his name.
Quite the lane you want to gank, unfortunately, with Ambessa having 7. Now, unless Chubba Chups is really far pushed up, he's a little bit slippery, a little bit harder of a character to get locked down, of course, but deny those camps away from Han is a very, very smart call here from Massimo, trying to make sure that he equalizes best he can, if not hampering his opponent at the same time. And he's done just that. Spectacular stuff in terms of equalizing out what was a lane advantage. If a Charmlane's here, Imogen's in a bit of trouble, Cataclysm's there, but the side's better of it, knowing full well that Streamer Shuffle, the Empress Divide, could just throw this Jarvan right back into that waiting tower.
Yeah, especially with the Crescent Guard available for Han just over the wall. Doesn't want to get pushed back all the way to Narnia. See how this goes. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is online, so they can look for those cross-map plays if Reela has the presence of mind to land the shot up accordingly. Void Grub's going to come up, and Massimo on the other side of the map, so might just have to concede another objective on over towards Maplers. Although they haven't had too much of a chance to really push out any of these lanes now, so you're okay giving that up at this point. The Hawk Shot will confirm that as well, so continuing to apply the pressure in this bot lane as we see Massimo waiting in the alcove, clearing vision.
A lane gank here, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to be there. It does cost them the grubs, unfortunately. Hook does land.
Looking for a dive. Oh, Crystal Arrow comes through, depth charge, and the Cataclysm right into the back line. And that's a free kill if ever you've seen it. Solely chunked low for the moment with that armor shred. Hits level 6. Has to have the solar flare to worry about. Reela tanking for the moment. Nice kill secured. And the juggling is clean. 6 on the board for Coached by Woodon at 9 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant stuff. Reela's, who was already rampaging ahead, is now almost 1,500 gold ahead, in fact, over a Jhin. 30 CS, 3 kills. This is possibly the worst position a Jhin could find themselves in a game. At worst, you're wanting to go even as a Jhin. You just want to sit there, happily take your farm and not overly get caught too much.
Ooh, Spirit Rush. Doesn't commit towards it. I think you should go for it in that situation, but not really too confident in the damage, which makes sense at this point. There's no Malignance yet available. Massimo already putting up a good showing in these first 10 minutes in the jungle here for Coached by Woodon. Maybe Zookeeper's got a little bit of competition heading potentially into those playoffs.
I can pretty confidently say that I don't think Massimo wants to be locked in the jungle anytime soon. I think he's quite happy for it to just be a bit of a one-off visit.
Just a bit of a Jarvan merchant this game, and then hand the reins back over to Zookeeper. Love to see though, Dragon up in a little over 90 seconds. See what the prio is on that point. Don't know that they're on the ward, so they must know now. There's some vision nearby. Imogen could be in a bit of trouble. Cataclysm not available for another few seconds. Not going to commit towards that. Crystal Arrow, Death Charge, going to commit, just try and do a little bit of damage, but the Han is here. This might be a situation they're not exactly anticipating. Flash away, curtain call, going to try and find the engage. Han's going in, might find the kill potentially. The shutdown's there, but how much further does this go is the question. Cataclysm, good for one. Gavin falls down finally to the ignite, but it's still a 2 for 2 at the end of it all. Maybe looking for more. Flag and Drag has the combo, has the damage. That's a triple kill for Massimo in the jungle.
Damn it, Max. Stop showboating. Of course. It doesn't surprise me even in the slightest.
Like that, you deserve it.
It doesn't even surprise me in the slightest. He's usually pretty low-key, but if he gets going, he does like to arc up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it looked like a disastrous turnaround there, but Gavin, to his credit, absolutely making this a prime opportunity for Massimo and E-Hop to get positioned to assist on the regain. And they get themselves a pretty phenomenal turnaround there. A triple by the end of it for Massimo, as Mosesa just steps way too far forward with no flash to work with whatsoever. And a huge counter gank there.
And now they're going to continue to put up the pressure in the bot lane here. Imogen low, thanks to E-Hop. Has that Malignance online now, so going to be even more of a threat. I don't know how close this Azir is to that Nash's Tooth, but okay, finally we'll have it online, so can deal a little bit more damage this time around. Is Dragon going to be secured? Han not in a position to contest that. So we'll be one apiece here for these as they go towards that soul. It will be Mountain Soul. Okay. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I think
it's going to
help out more value on the side of Coach by Woodon.
Yeah, this Jhin is going to be completely irrelevant heading into that later stages if they can get this soul online. The Azir as well going to have a little bit of a tough time until that Leandries comes online. Doesn't have a whole lot of shred across the board.
Absolutely. And to his credit, Chop says he's been a bit of an island up here. Yeah, he's dipped down a little bit in terms of CS, but that is kind of to be expected in a range versus melee matchup. Nah, can be a bit of a lane bully if given that opportunity. And so, to his credit, on this Ambassador has weathered this as well as he can. Gavin looking for the Hex Splash play. And Charm Crystal Arrow misses, but the charm doesn't.
Almost interrupted the dash as well, so continuing to apply the pressure, maintaining this gold lead. It's down to 4k at this point. They've clawed back a little bit. How much further can they go?
Not much.
A little bit.
Solid, yeah, solid control here by Coach by Woodon. Mid and jungle and bot lane.
Wait, hang on.
Oh, he solo bowled him.
He soloed him. This, I'm telling you, E-Hop's Ahri, this entire group stage has been so lethal. He's got the power of that Faker skin channeling through him. It's crazy.
Exactly it. Meanwhile, again, that island of the top lane, both the Knight and the Ambassador left to their own devices. Not doing much of anything, but it's perfectly fine. They're just biding their time, looking for an opportunity to come and get involved in these team fights. That should be brewing at any point. Now, you look at these towers, and a few of them are prepped to go down. Specifically that one in the bot lane. Mosesa and Sully aren't going to be holding onto this lane for much longer.
No, especially not with that Herald up in 45 seconds. Arn has to play a bit defensively towards this bot lane, try and claw something back for the lane. Woodon continuing to try and get towards that Triforce and make a little bit of a difference. Maybe push down that tower, get a few kills under his name. We'll have to see. Z-Hop continuing to just scale and scale. 4 stacks on that Dark Seal. We saw a Medjai's last time around.
I mean, to be a bold call, especially with a game this hectic. Chop's trying to do what he can, but it's a hard lane. Oh, wow.
Oh, almost gets the kill.
Just not at all respecting the Gnar damage there.
Emihan's here as well, so he goes for a dive. It might be in trouble. Chris Lara is going to miss, and the hook will barely scrape on by like Neo. Now, Woodon could be in a bit of trouble, gets the movement speed. Might be able to get out, but the chain CC is there. The public execution lives up to its name. And Emihan will find one. Flash, never mind, in mid lane. And E-Hop going to trade one of his own in the bot lane. We're just getting chaos all over the map here. Lethal Tempo stacking up the Ignite as well. They're going to dive on in towards this tower. Iron Solari by a bit of time. The tower's going to find two. And Soli with the most kills on the team for this Leona. It's still a terrible situation to be in. 13-7. This game's going crazy.
Oh, good guy, Gavin. You got to give it to him. Tanking the tower there. Realist does pick up one. Both those kills. 4 kills. So more than half the team's kills here for the Maplers currently sitting in the pocket of Sully on this Leona. Probably the best Leona game that anyone has had in this tournament because of just the pure economics of it.
And barely has 200 gold more than this Nautilus.
Has 200 gold more than the Azir.
Yeah. Oh, this is a very invisible Emperor at the moment. In the mid lane as E-Hop on the hunt. Ult up in 5 seconds. He can taste it. Flash as well, available for Gavin. Looking for the hook, and it's just going to land this time around. Doesn't even need to commit it. Going to hand that one over towards Gavin. And suddenly, Soli doesn't even have that gold lead in bot lane anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolute manhandling across the Rift Tower. About to go down in the top lane. Mazimo, he's on that Herald, has the Sundered Sky, working towards a Black Cleaver. He's only 11 gold down, while being 5-1-3, but in terms of impact on the Rift, kill participation, 8 of 14 kills.
First tower on the board here for Woodon as well, just continuing to accelerate that gold lead. Triforce in the pocket. Now, Villa could be in a bit of trouble here. Spot 3, Solar Flare is going to whiff. The root lands, the Chain CC, the flash as well. And the kill secured. Going to hand that one over to Emihan. How much can they get off of this is the question. Dragon is up. Massimo will have Smite in the moment. They don't really have a lot in the realm to try and contest this. I just have to give it up.
They will indeed. There's no reason to force it. I think a little bit of greed there from Realiz could have well and truly got himself away from that position. If he just flashed off the Solar Flare, he would have been able to walk it out and been fine. But look, you live and you learn. Unfortunately, this flash is too late. Luckily, things aren't all that drastic. He's still 2.6k gold ahead of his lane opponent, 2.1k gold lead in the mid lane. He's still 700 clear of the next highest member. And then beyond that, 2.7k clear of the next highest on the team. It's only really Emihan that is putting up the jukes to fight this one out.
Madness at this point, and they're trying to find a way to stifle the bleeding here, to staunch the bleeding. If you're Maplers, what can you even do in this situation? Your bot laner is down a whole item on this Ashe, who is only going to accelerate even more with this Kraken Slayer, with the PD. In the mid lane, Imogen can't really get much damage to get a kill on anyone at this point. You're going to have to rely on Han and Chuppa Chups finding those ults, finding that pick onto someone of value. That's really your only chance of getting back into this.
Yeah, I mean, long odds. It is feeling like Sully and Gavin are about to meet each other. Imogen is there.
Might be in a bit of trouble, Gavin. Chain CC, but never mind. E-Hop's here. Spirit Rush might find the kill. Crescent Guard buying so much time. And now Reela could be in a bit of trouble. Flag and Drag comes on in. Imogen's going to fall on down. That's a reset for the Spirit Rush. How much further can they go? Necessa in trouble. Gets back into the tower. And E-Hop's on a killing spree. That's a double kill for the Ari. And they clean up the fight.
A bit dicey for sure, but a 2 for 3. I think you quite happily take that at the end of the day. But look at how much they commit there just for a kill onto a Nautilus. Unfortunately, it does then result in Realiz going down. Doesn't have that flash, having wasted it down on the bot lane, getting caught out. And then from there, they come in, they mop up. And money going onto the Ari is just absolute value. And once again, Soli is the one picking up these kills.
Yeah, it's a rough situation to be in for sure. 5 on the board here. 50% of the kill. Now for Maplers is on Soli, and look at that mountain of a gold graph continue to climb. As we head into the 20-minute mark.
Well, they are looking for
See
Woodon
how
here.
things go.
Has the flash.
Trying to find
Should have the hop.
Snar is so incredibly potent here. Wind becomes lightning, could be in a bit of trouble, but flash to safety is there. No public execution to follow up. He used that before. So a lot of resources committed. They do get the flash out of it, but nothing else.
Oh, Imogen.
Hang on. Imogen's in trouble. Still one more over the wall. And the Foxfire to finish it off. Unstoppable here. Has the Medjais, has 14 stacks now. And this Ahri is going to tear through Maple.
It's already doing that. I mean, 6,000 gold lead combined between the bot and mid laner, but coached by Woodon. And, well, coached indeed. Look at it, 10.2k. What an arrow.
Crystal Arrow might be able to find something under the tower, but it's a bit too late to save Woodon. They will get that kill. They'll get the tower in top lane and maybe get a bit of a consolation prize. How much further can it go?
They get so much cryo in mid and bot lane. E-hop down here means they're just going to crash this wave in. And that's even more plate damage. They're going to take jungle away from Han as well. So the value that coached by Woodon have found, even losing Woodon up in that top lane, is just huge. It's just crazy numbers. The proactivity that we're seeing out of this roster and what they're getting off the back of it is just really impressive.
E-hop has 2.5 levels over Imogen. Let's see how far it goes though. Han finds the kill. Good shutdown secured. They catch him out of position. But how much further can they go with this? Sully doesn't have the Zenith Blade available just yet. Public Execution is here. Lands on towards Gavin. They will find another pick, so a good catch here for Maplers. Will save them. Keep them in this game, especially with 50 seconds up on this Dragon. Buys them a bit of space to work with. They may just go for the Baron.
Yeah, it's a call, especially with Massimo still up and available and Reela, who is a huge damage threat at this point. Not to mention the fact that Woodon is building up that rage bar right now. And a Mega Gnar in this situation could be the undoing of the Maplers.
It's here, 8.5k on this Baron. How far can they go? How do they turn this is the question. Soli in a lot of trouble, going to fall on down almost immediately. Gnar into the wall, lands onto Imogen. Akuma, rather Chups onto the backline, immediately gets charmed. Might be able to find something else, but look at this Ahri just tearing through the line. And that's a double kill on the board for the Ashe, a double kill for E-hop. And they're going to turn on the Baron themselves.
That's my boy Massimo right there. Absolutely plays his life. Look at it. Huge ult here from Woodon. Jump sport. Yeah, look, he only clips 2, but one of them being Imogen, who then has to run for his life. The Emperor's Divide in this situation could have been fight defining, but unfortunately because he was forced back having lost so much HP, and then Massimo on this Jarvan was sticking to him, all it's used on is to get that Jarvan away. Off the back of it, the team mops up and gets that Baron for themselves. A 9k gold lead at 23.5 minutes, and boy, what a game for an autofill jungler to be having.
Absolutely, and now they get out on the map even before the rest of them with the Baron. Might be able to try and find Soli, or at least burn them down a little bit. Han going to be spotted. Getting a lot of vision here towards this lane. No flash available for this Leona. They're just going to catch him out for free. And now how far can they go? Curtain call to the side, trying to find the angle. And it will be Reela finally going on down after the public execution goes wide. Chup trapped in the Cataclysm for now. The execute, the double kills here for E-hop. He's hunting for more. Imogen on the run, and that's a third. Might look to find 4. Another Spirit Rush, a charm to the face, and that's a quadra kill for the mid lane.
Oh my lord, Reela's, despite being so fed, all he's really doing is just drawing all that attention away from the Maplers to enable E-hop to just be this monster in the middle of team fights. 11, 1, and 7, fully stacked Medjais, a 5.3k gold lead in that mid lane alone. 28,000 damage out, more than double the Azir that he was laning against.
A cheat code, it looks like. Oh my god, this Ahri is off the charts and has been all group stage. And yeah, Soli, as we check this replay, is caught out of position. They do get the trade onto Reela at the very least, but the fight is just nowhere. You're not able to find it. You're damage dealers are completely isolated.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Woodon the entire time, just zoning out both your bot and mid lanes. Yuzir, the Jhin, just can't do anything there. And Gavin body blocking Imogen to allow E-Hop to come in and find that kill. And poor Mozessa, once again, too close for comfort, just gets caught out. Oh. Yeah, really needs to work on that ultimate of his.
In a bit of trouble as Solar Flare goes wide as well. Charm lands, look at that burst damage. And they're going to hand it over to Reeler for good measure. Flashes out of the Cataclysm. They're just going to continue to up the pressure here. 30 seconds left on this Baron.
Oh my lord.
That's going to be Imogen caught out by the Nara ult. Looking for more, and that's a kill for Woodon. Pushing in towards this top tower now. How much further can they go? Massimo just BMing in their face as another depth charge lands. Looking for more public execution. Not going to find it. The burst damage. E-Hop gets another godlike. Looking for more. Han, the only left standing, is going to fall just like that all the same. 33 kills for the team. And they're going to look to end it all off.
A massive game by Coach for Woodon. They lock it in. Absolutely a done deal for them as they secure top of Group A uncontested, as they will qualify themselves for a spot in the playoffs bracket.
6-2-19 for the auto-fill jungler of Massimo. You will remember his name as he locks his team into playoffs in that first seed. There will be no tiebreaker in Group A. It is done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, look, the guy, to his credit, he is a really, really solid player, even in an autofill role. The guy has been grinding the game for the better part of, since he's been playing as long as I have, so since Season 2, and has consistently achieved quite a high level of play in Oceania. Look, he's not challenger, but he's consistently sitting around that Diamond Master set, area, even casually. So, I mean, in terms of autofills, there are a few that you could ask for better than someone like Massimo, who is just, when it comes to situations like this, dedicated. You ask him to pick up that mantle and do the job that he needs to do, and he'll give it his best.
Incredible performance, especially, I mean, the entire team had an incredible performance. Gavin keeping up that pressure in the bot lane. I mean, we can't sing their praises enough, even in the top lane. Woodon didn't have too much of an impact, but was that solid laner overall. And they will be our #1 seed from Group A going into playoffs. Team Capybara now locks that second place at 2-1. So Group A is done and dusted. We've got 3 teams absolutely locked for playoffs. And I think by the end of the night, we should have all of them locked. I'm hyped.
Look, it will be an interesting one to see how things round out. But yeah, coached by Woodon, there were questions, but I think they've solidly answered us to, was there really ever a risk of a 3-way tie? No, not really. When they get stuck in, when it comes to crunch time, they pull up, and they pull up in a big way. And we saw that pretty evidently throughout the way they controlled the momentum in that game. They were proactive, looking to make those plays. They enabled this monstrous Ashe to come on through and come into its own. And from that point on, the game was pretty much in the bag.
1 game finalized, 3 more groups to be decided tonight. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back for game number 2 shortly. So don't go anywhere.